Hey everyone, in today's video I have 3 trash to treasure DIYs to share with you. The first thing I have is this crate that I picked up at the thrift store for just a couple of dollars. I love the way it looks, but I really wanted to add a stencil to it. So I was sent this Mercantile stencil by the company Stencil Revolution, and if you're interested in it, I will link below all the stencils that I'm using in this video. So I'm going to be coming in with my Waverly chalk paint, and I'm also going to be using a foam brush, and I'm simply going to be dabbing it into the stencil. The container that I'm using was pretty coarse and was like a thick wood, so I found that it was a lot easier just to dab it in. I also only did 1 coat of paint on this. Sometimes I'll do 2, but the look that I'm going for is more of a distressed look on here. So later on I'm going to be removing some of the paint, so 1 coat was plenty for me. So after you pull your stencil off, there's going to be the little areas that you have to fill in where the stencil didn't cover it. So I'm just going back in with a fine detail brush and drawing in those areas. I love how this stencil fits perfectly on this little box. So I let this dry completely before I moved on with any steps. Next, I'm going to come in with this sanding block, and I'm just going to sand it pretty lightly. I want it to have a distressed finish. So I just want to remove a good amount of paint here. After I use the sanding block, then I'm going to come in and I'm going to be wiping off the sand, and I'm also going to be using this wet rag to distress. So what I'm doing is essentially just pulling more of the paint off. Someone asked me in my last video, whenever I wet distress, do I let the paint dry first? And the answer is yes. You want your paint to completely dry and at least sit for an hour or so before you come back in and wet distress. So you can see on my letters, you can see through them a little bit, and it just has a more worn look to it. I decided to display this container on my fireplace, and I love the way that it turned out. Next, I'm going to make this cute little Market Fresh sign. So I picked up this tray at Hobby Lobby for a couple of dollars, and it originally had these handles on it, but I took the handles off for this purpose. I didn't really like what was on the tray, so I decided I was gonna flip it over to the back. And this same Market Fresh sign I got from Stencil Revolution, and I will leave all the sizes and details below. So I'm gonna come in with my Waverly chalk paint in white. And I decided that I just wanted this to look a little bit more weathered on the back. The wood I like, but I didn't necessarily like how splotchy it was. And so I'm just gonna take that paint and I'm gonna brush it off before I put it on there. I'm just going to lightly put this white paint on. I'm gonna concentrate the paint in the edges so that I get kind of a nice edging of the white, and this is complete preference. Just put on as much or as little as you like. Start light and then build it up so that you don't put on too much. For my stencil, I really wanted a navy color, but I didn't have navy paint, but that's okay. I'm gonna mix some blue, I have gray, and then I have some black, and I'm just gonna mix this up until it's the color that I want. I wanted to put this in my dining room, and if you guys remember, I have those dark walls that are just a rich navy color in my dining room, so I thought this would be a nice contrast to that. So once I got my desired color, I'm going to come in and just simply dab the paint on. I did do 2 coats on here since it was a darker color and I wanted it to stand out. So I do recommend on most of your stenciling to put in 2 thin layers. You'd be better to do 2 thin layers than to do 1 really gloppy coat, because what'll happen is you'll get bleeding underneath your stencil and nobody wants that. So just do 2 thin layers. It does take more time, but I promise you it's worth it. So once I got the stencil completely done, I'm gonna go back in and fill in those different lines that I missed where the stencil was. Now, if you notice, I have my stencil placed a little bit lower. The reason I did that is because I wanted to wrap some twine around the top. So I'm just coming in with this jute twine. You can pick it up at Walmart, and I'm just going to simply wrap it around my tray. I think I wrapped it around maybe 5 or 6 times. Just do however much you think looks nice. I thought it gave it just a little bit more of like a rustic farmhouse type look. If you guys are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I post several DIY tutorials each week, and I would love to have you. So once I get all of my twine on, I'm gonna flip it over to the back, and I'm just going to take my duct tape and attach the ends of the twine to the twine that I had already wrapped around. And then on the front, I decided to put a little bow. So I'm just gonna take another piece of twine and I'm gonna attach it to one of the center pieces. And then I'm not going to cross it, but I'm just going to start making the 2 loops to create the bow. And then I'll just trim off the remaining edges of my bow. You guys, I really love this sign. I put it on the top of my china cabinet, and I just think it looks really cute in my dining room. Next, we're gonna make this Our Farmhouse sign, and I just thought this would be perfect. I knew exactly what I wanted to use. I had this charger plate from Target Dollar Spot that I picked up for $3, and I knew that would be perfect for this sign. So I got the sign that fit this plate perfectly. It comes in so many different sizes, and it also has the numbers with it. I'm going to be using that Waverly white chalk paint again, and coming in, and I'm going to do 2 coats like I did the previous stencil. This definitely needs 2 coats if you're putting it over this pattern here, just so it really stands out, and you want the coverage to be really good. Once I had my 2 coats done, I'm just gonna go back in and do my detail work on my sign. I thought this would be great for doing different gifts. You could give this as like a wedding present, or for somebody for a wedding shower. Just change the year to match when they're getting married, and I thought that would just be a really cute idea. I did this one for my house, so I'm putting the year that I got married, but you can do whatever you like. And then all you have to do, you could cut these out, but I just kind of moved them around and used them, and it worked just fine. I posted a sneak peek of this video on Instagram. If you guys aren't following me, you can do that at mydiyhomeliz. You can also follow me on Facebook at mydiyhome. So from there, to hang it up, I'm just going to use some duct tape to hold this in place. And then I'm taking some burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to create a cute little bow, and I'm going to glue it to the bottom. I wanted the ends of this to look really cute, so I just put them together and cut them off, and then I'm going to fold the ends together so that it has that nice finished look to the ends of it. You guys are going to have to let me know below which of these projects was your favorite. If you haven't checked out my recent Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to link it right here so you guys can go watch that video next. I love how these Dollar Tree DIYs have been turning out lately. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!